Langer chips over the top, looks for support, finds O'Neill, then Langer, now Khan.
Stand by for the clash of the season.
In and away from Larson. Oh, put away the glasses.
As Canberra and Brisbane line up for a finals rehearsal.
Stewart, he dummies on the kick, makes a run of 35 metres, floats it out to Nandruku. Nandruku puts in the big step, then puts it inside for Mullins. Oh my goodness!
Two world-class backlines with over 100 tries between them in '93.
Langer for Johns, Johns for O'Neill, O'Neill for Renoff, Renoff gets another!
And two of the most dominant packs in the cup.
Gade out from dummy half, making valuable territory, this time 40 metres I'd say.
The battle of the big guns on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
16 internationals, 6 State of Origin players and 4 who will represent in the future are on show tonight as we welcome you to the Bruce Stadium here in Canberra for our Friday night coverage of Winfield Cup Rugby League, and it doesn't get any better than this. The Brisbane Broncos up against the Canberra Raiders. I'm not going to say it's a dress rehearsal for a grand final. What I do believe is that they are the 2 best sides in the competition based on what we've seen over the last 6 weeks. And Ray Warren, before we get into the actual 80 minutes of play, let's just have a look at how important this game is, especially considering the point that Canberra dropped last week, that draw with Balmain.
Yeah, well, they're on 27 points, as everybody knows. If we have a look at the table, they're just 2 points in front of North Sydney and 3 in front of Manly. But most people think Norths and Manly will win all their remaining 4 games. Now, if Canberra lose tonight, keep in mind they have to play Canterbury in the last round at Belmore. Now, it's possible that Canberra might only finish on 31 and Norths and Manly might both leapfrog them. That's how important it is. I know it's said that it's a dress rehearsal for the grand final, but this could well be a grand final for Canberra, and that doesn't exempt Brisbane either from the tentacles of danger.
Now, trying to work all through that, who are you picking?
I'm of the opinion that Brisbane, just with that class from sideline to sideline, from front to back, I think it might just get them home.
Well, Paul Vaughton, the obvious thing about tonight is the great personal battles, and a couple are going to decide the course of the game. Which are the outstanding ones for you?
Well, the first one I'm looking at is between the hookers, Steve Wallace and Kerrod Wallace, the brothers. And Steve Wallace, for mine, has nearly been the player of the year. He's been in outstanding form. Around those rucks, he controls the rucks, very powerful runner and can score a try. Kerrod, very nippy out of dummy half. He also gets his forwards going, a very good passer of the football, so that's a great duel. The other one, of course, is the halfback duel between Stewart and Alan Langer. Ricky Stewart, when he decides to run the ball, is probably the best player in the competition today, and he can score a try. His cover defence is great. Alan Langer controls his side. Little short kicking game, which can be very handy, and he will lead their side as well. Some great duels.
Now, those players are going to handle the football more than any other players tonight, but they do direct it towards some pretty big strike power.
Well, they've got 4 players out wide, Peter, who have scored 55 tries between them in Nandruku, Hoppy, Khan and Renoff. Some fantastic players, fleet of foot. We're going to see some tries again tonight. I'm going to stick with Canberra. I think down here on a Friday night, this is their night.
Well, I do think the best defensive team of the night is going to win the football game. A lot of talk about the conditions favouring Canberra. It is freezing down here tonight. They will be more acclimatised to these kind of conditions, but it is significant to note that in the last 5 meetings between these 2 clubs, Brisbane have won every one of those games. To see if that dominance continues, stay with us. This is going to be a great game, one of the best of the seasons. Should be a beauty.
4,460. That was set against St George in 1991, and they're really stacked in here. I think that ground record will go by the board. The kids have been allowed to come down onto the ground. They're behind the dead ball lines, and people everywhere rugged up against the cold, but waiting for one of the real hot Winfield Cup matches of 1993. Let's have a look at the 2 sides. There's the back lines, and look at the personal clashes. The speed, the try scorers, and of course the big clash, the 7s, Stewart and Langer. The forward brigade, let's have a look at that. Croker, Pongia, Ferner, Lomax, Steve Walters, Osborne against Madison, Cairn, Gilmeister, Hone, Kerrod Walters and Lazarus. Kerrod Walters against his brother Steve. That in itself would be enough for the price of admission. Mal Meninga takes the Raiders out. The last time they defeated Brisbane was over at Seaford Oval in Queanbeyan. That was back in 1989. And only a few days ago they came from Bruce Stadium. Even though they got 1 point, they knew Coach Sheens would not be happy with that 32-all draw against Balmain. Tonight, they get a chance to set the record straight. The Raiders welcomed by a huge crowd. Last time they went out against Brisbane was ANZ Stadium. And that time it was Brisbane with the parochial crowd, and Brisbane came home 12-10 the winners. Very cold night. The ground perfectly prepared. Brett Mullins, one of the speedsters. Jason Croker at the back of the scrum tonight. Tim Sheen signing a contract to stay with the Raiders for a further 2 years. Only today it was to expire in 94. He'll be here until the end of 96 at least. And Ricky Stewart waiting for his clash with the man leading the Brisbane Broncos out, Alan Langer. The defending premiers, they know that if they're going to win the crown again this year, this is one team they have to overcome. Langer, a little smile on the face. Big Glenn Lazarus is going to be so important. Down on the sidelines tonight, Gene Miles joins us. He's there with Steve Roach, and Steve, the big fella Lazarus, he's going to be a real trump card. He's always played well against Canberra.
Yeah, he sure is. It's good to have all this razzle-dazzle in both of these backlines, but it's up front where these big games are won, and Glenn Lazarus should lead the way. It's interesting to note that 3 times he's played against his old club, he's won 3 man of the matches. I think Lazarus will be the key. What do you think, Gene?
Well, mate, I think for Brisbane to be successful tonight, they must shut down the dummy half running of Stephen Walters. I know during the week they've concentrated a lot on their mark of defence, and the moment that Steve Walters can sense the Brisbane forwards are slow off the deck, that's when he'll come into his own.
Well, that comment from Gene could well apply as well to the Canberra side. We saw Kerrod Walters in some brilliant form last Friday night. There's the start. It's underway, this match that's been talked about as the clash of the year. Lazarus has failed. That's Alan Cann. Mark Hone. Keeping our cameras fixed on these early confrontations. Gilmeister got a bad pass. Left himself open. O'Neill. Good work out of marker by Daly. Now the clearing kick, and they've gone nowhere, Brisbane. Langer's kick is only shallow. Fortunately for Brisbane, it beat Belcher. Example of how slippery that grass is, right there under the feet of Gary Belcher.
And the first penalty going to Canberra, the ball being raked out. What a start from Laurie Daly, the big front-on tackle, and stopping the kicker. And there you see it was Kerrod Walters flicking the ball out of Belcher's hands. It earns the Canberra Raiders their first penalty. Stewart should find touch around the 40-metre area.
Does a fraction better than that. Now Osborne. Brisbane's turn to defend early. Stewart. Nandruku. They're in the centre of the park. This is where they love to be. Steve Walters out from dummy half. Stewart. Bongia. Back from suspension for this game. Stewart again. Daly. Grubs into the in goal, doesn't quite make it. Willie Kahn with it 3 metres out from his own line.
And nice work by Kahn there, read that very well. Canberra had a big line set, but Kahn was in perfect position. And this Canberra defence is ecstatic at this stage. They're coming up in droves and driving the Broncos backwards.
It's always a good play, but isn't it, the little kick in behind the back line? What it does is put doubt in the defence's mind as to how quickly they can come up. He's turning them around early. It's a good play as Steve Renouf, a little bit of space, picks up Hancock on the inside, gets away from Daly, can't beat Pongia.
4.5 start offered about Canberra. on New South Wales Footy Tab today. Tremendous start by the Green Machine. Langer sending it down to the 30-metre line for Gary Belcher. Mandruku. Players out there almost right across the park. It can score a try from anywhere. Another penalty. This time to Canberra again.
Yes, much too early, the marker. I think it was Kerrod Walters getting out. That's what they're going to try and do, put pressure on the ball runner and the kicker. And Walters, he had left well and truly before the pass had been thrown, and a good kick puts Canberra on the attack once again.
Take it inside the 20-metre line. Penalty to Brisbane. It's against Lomax.
Well, this is silly play by Canberra in possession on the first tackle. Lomax, what does he do here? Can't see anything yet. Oh, stepped off the mark. There it was there. Had to play the ball where he was tackled, and he stepped, what, 1.5 metres off the mark, and the pressure is off the Broncos.
Block of the kicking game's important out there tonight. Any wind advantage at all for either of these sides?
No, it's a very still night here tonight, Pete, but as we've seen, the first 2 kicks from Alfie Langer haven't gained much distance, and Canberra have had the upper hand.
This is Mark Hone. Lazarus. Put down by Croker and Lomax. Can. Awesome start by Canberra. Gene Miles.
Yeah, it's been a great start. Ray, I think the conditions underfoot are a little bit greasy. We've seen on 2 occasions now. We saw Gary Belcher slip and also Willie Kahn.
Langer. Little grubber kick for himself. Belcher comes up. Was under the spotlight of criticism during the week, Gary Belcher. People thought he may lose his spot for this game. This is Hoppy playing at Meninga. Now it's Pongia.
For Brisbane out there, Mark Hone in a little bit of trouble. He received some treatment as Meninga. Bad marker play. Took a couple of easy metres down that blind side of the ruck. Hone took a heavy knock. You just keep an eye on him.
Stewart clearing. Bouncing back inside the 20-metre line. Julian O'Neill brings it back. Brisbane spreading the ball wide from inside their own 20, and Renouf gets away from one, has one to beat. Belcher equal to the task. Brisbane on the attack. Langer. Oh, it's broken down badly.
Oh, unlucky there for Brisbane, because after that break was made by Renouf, he had O'Neill on the inside. Brisbane swung the ball straight away. Canberra with their compressed defence couldn't handle it. Renouf might have a picnic out there.
Now Canberra love to work the ball wide on the first tackle.
Good tackle by Gary Belcher as well. I know he had a bit of support there, but he had to make the tackle. If he missed, Renouf was under the posts.
David Furner. Stewart runs to the line, floats it onto the chest of Meninga. Glassing tackle out wide, though, by Chris Johns. Stewart again. Stabbing it back towards the touchline. Finds the line 10 metres out.
Gee, that was a good tackle by Chris Johns. One-on-one Meninga on Johns. And Mal had a bit of room to move, but Chris Johns handled him very, very well and brought him down to the turf.
I was a little bit surprised that Ricky Stewart opted to the grubber kick back in behind and fine touch. I thought he might have just put the high kick up, put some pressure on Julian O'Neill early in the game. Jeans said that it's a little bit greasy out there. Might have just kept the pressure on with the high kick and the good chase.
Gene, I thought I saw Mark Hone clutching at what would be his right shoulder, or left shoulder.
Yeah, it's his left shoulder, Ray, and he's just asked Wayne Bennett for 5 minutes just to see if it can come up all right.
That'll be a blow for the Broncos, because he always puts in more than he's probably required, if that's possible. Kerrod Walters Heavy treatment there for the Brisbane hooker. Lazarus taking the pass on the ad line. Can, wrapped up by Daly. Enthusiastic defence by Daly early in the game. Kevin Walters. Willie Khan on Nandruku. Khan's kick is freakish but good. Belcher. Nandruku. Over the halfway. Oh, driven into the ground by Gilmeister. Now they spread it through Stewart and Daly. Sean Hoppy's with it. Osborne, no markers at all.
Bad marker defence again. They went to sleep. Got the momentum now as Laurie Daly takes the first place. He's got no support.
There's a chance here for Daly, but Brisbane through Hancock. Well, that's tremendous work by Daly.
Yeah, super effort there by Laurie Daly. The Brisbane defence is backpedaling. Daly took advantage of it. Got a bit of a knock through there by Can. But this tackle one-on-one once again on Hancock, just grabbed him by the ankle and hung on, waited for support to come in. And Brisbane will have the dropout.
Again in that set of six, Paul, the marker defence letting Brisbane down on a couple of occasions. Steve Wallace picked up some easy yards already.
And good quick play the balls too by the Canberra players.
O'Neill's drop kick. Taken on the fingertips by Quentin Pongia. 3-1. No, don't tell me he's going into touch. Sean Hoppy. Penalty to Canberra. They'll take the shot.
Well, they're a touch fortunate still to have the football. I think if Pongia had gone over the sideline, Tim Sheens would have been tempted to take him straight off. As it turned out, miraculously he stayed in because he had that man Michael Hancock trying to drag him over. And you don't get much closer than that. He really took the odds to it. And from this next play, the ball, Brisbane players caught offside. Oregon played a little bit of an advantage, which is good to see. Inferno with a kick, 10 or 15 metres to the side of the right-hand upright.
.51 successes from 86 for David Furner. 59% success ratio. He's cemented that second row spot now with Canberra. Position that he contested for quite a number of weeks, but he's settled in the top side now. 20 metres in, 16 out, and it's wide. So no score at Bruce Stadium. 11 minutes gone in Friday night football. .22-metre or 20-metre dropout for Brisbane. And David Furner goes back. First line of defence for Brisbane. A few times it's let them down.
There's no doubt the players are having some trouble maintaining their footing on this surface, and in defence rushing up against a player that's got a little bit of evasion. They are being caught out.
Stewart. Ah, great hands by Daly. Meninga. Steve Walters. Don't often see him in that position. Play on, says Harrigan. Pongia. Stewart. Stewart shaping the kick, running himself. Lost as he went to the ground.
And Ricky Stewart had the Brisbane defence in two minds there when he ran the football as Can makes a good surge. But great play by Stewart when he decides to run. Look at the defence holding off. They don't know what he's going to do. Finally, the loose pass went, but great play by Stewart.
Tremendous tackle by Glenn Lazarus. Big man covered, plenty of ground. Hancock jolted by Lomax. Lazarus. Down to the sideline, Steve Roach.
Yeah, message just come out from the Canberra Raiders coach, Tim Sheens. Tell his outside backs to go up. Don't slide in defence. They've got to go up and put pressure on players like Renouf.
They have dominated, haven't they, Canberra, in this opening 15 minutes. They've played all field position. Brisbane haven't been in the 20-metre area, and Mandruku, again, almost gets it to the 50-metre line to take the field position again for the Raiders and keep the ball alive.
Lomax throwing the little dummy. Time and motion study would show that Canberra have been in Brisbane's territory for, I would think, 85%. Stewart. Brett Mullins. The last. Very high bomb by Stewart. His runners are down there before the ball comes down. Lazarus is going to fall on it for Brisbane.
A smart play too from Lazarus, not trying to do too much fancy with it, just diving on the ball without trying to pick it up. Marcone takes it 42 out. He knew it was important to get possession for his side.
Willie Card. There's how they stand in relation to one another. Equal leaders Brisbane, 28, Canberra 4th, 27. But the points for and against, they tell a story, don't they, about this Canberra side. They have the best in the Winfield Cup, and had they have got the 2 points last Sunday, they would be on top of the ladder. Madison takes it to the 20-metre line. Now the last. Brisbane's been on the ropes. Now they come back. Langer, oh, gee, Stewart. He booted it into the crowd. That was urgent.
Oh, and he's a great cover defender, Ricky Stewart, whether it be in defence with tackling, or here he is now, Langer. He did that last week, and now Stewart comes over as well and boots it nearly into the crowd.
You knew Ricky Stewart's kicking game was going to be important. You didn't think it'd be kicking it 50 metres back his own way. Alan Langer, beautiful skills there. Last tackle, hit on the ground, forcing the line drop out to get possession back.
Stewart's drop kick, 50 metres exactly. Julian O'Neill. Dangerous practice. He ran around behind Madison. The referee believes there was no defence to be obstructed. Madison just inside the 30. Brisbane have not seen this end of the ground. Karen Wilder's a handoff.
Oh, knock on off on there.
Well, he tried to get the pass back to Lazarus. I'm wondering whether it came back off Lazarus and he got another touch on it. Let's have a look.
I think Lazarus knocks it forward here into a Canberra player back in front actually to Walters. So he was accidental offside, but the referee will play the scrum.
Said half-time, the long studs come out of the bags as well.
Well, they should have had them in the first place, shouldn't they?
Yeah, I think they've underestimated what's out there.
That's right.
It's an incredible carpet of grass. It's quite slippery, quite greasy. Head-to-head since '88. 9 times they played. 6-3 to Brisbane. And at Bruce Stadium, Brisbane have won the both. They get the ball 35 out from the Canberra line. John's playing it. Langer, Madison, floated out for Renouf. Kevin Wilder's a handoff for Hancock. Disjointed attack from Brisbane. Gilmeister, shoulder charge Furner. Hone promotes it. Langer. Can was with him on the right. Tackle by Furner. Kevin Walters. Away from Madison. He holds it back. Madison puts on a sprint. 11 metres out from the line now. Desperate tackle by Ricky Stewart. Langer to the air. Khan going fast. Knocked over the dead ball line by Canberra.
Well, we've seen them score a few tries off that particular move. Nearly came off again. Willie Kahn went up for it, but it came off Nadruka's shoulder. So it'll be a dropout for Canberra. Terry Madison having a pretty good game tonight. He just stood up Laurie Daly, ran into a gap, and he's created a few opportunities for his fellow forwards tonight.
And I think Terry Madison will be a little bit unhappy with some of the support plays received from his teammates. The support play in general from Brisbane not as good as we've come to expect. And a couple of times Madison and Langer have looked for players and they just haven't been there.
O'Neill. Lazarus. Centre of the ground. Mark Hone, he seems completely recovered. A few metres inside the 20-metre line. Floating pass. Renoff. Langer. Kevin Walters. Chris Johns. Johns. He fends one off. He goes in. He's in. Chris Johns gets the try.
And that's what was going to happen. One-on-one, if you miss a tackle in this company, you're going to pay the penalty. And unfortunately for Jason Croker, it was a simple fend that put him out of play, and Chris Johns always was going to have the speed. Here's the fend there. Got through Croker's defence, clutching defence, tried to go high. And one-on-one tackles, you must make them in this company.
Yeah, poor miss here by Croker. Meninga actually had the outside man covered. He was doing his job. There it was, nice fend by Chris Johns. Here's an international Australian rep and had the speed necessary to get over there in the corner. So Brisbane, after absorbing all the pressure, score the first try.
How many times does that happen?
Yeah, it's just in the last 5 or 6 minutes, but the tide had turned a little bit, hadn't it?
Oh, sure.
We'd seen them a couple of line dropouts, keeping that extra set of 6 going. If Brisbane can get 12 and 18 tackles, and they're going to be very tough to hold out. Unfortunately for Jason Croker, 1 miss and maybe a possible 6.
Terry Madison is way out there on the hillside of the ground. Tiered seating over there, filled to capacity. And that's what they are seeing. About a 45-degree angle. 3 metres in from touch. 20 metres out. Left the boot, but it's going across the face. No goal, but Brisbane, they lead Canberra 4-0 halfway through the first half. Welcome back. You're joining us here at Bruce Stadium again, along with what I'm sure is a ground record crowd, as we send you the pictures of Friday Night Rugby League between 2 of the heavyweights, Canberra and Brisbane. Brisbane, first blood. A try to Chris Johns. That's Alan Cann, nearly out to the 40. Gilmeister. Not a big man, but he plays many kilos over his weight. Langer. All the backs on his right were offside, so they must stay 10 metres away. They didn't, you know, but they got away with it. Nandruku. Meninga. Omax. Hoppy, in fact. Pongy up.
Steve Renoff there. He was trying to get into marker, knew it was going to be too late, and backed away. So he decided penalty is on the last tackle. Daly finds Ferner on the inside. Comes up with the mistake.
The turnover. Kevin Walters. Mark Hone. Solid defence by Canberra, just driving him back a couple of metres. Lazarus. Madison. Julian O'Neill. "20 metres out. Langer. Cam. What will Langer do here? This is the last. Puts it along the ground. Picked up by John. 6 more. 6 more tackles for Brisbane. 5 metres out. That's the try line. Langer. Long pass. Madison. Langer. That's the 10-metre line. Lazarus. Looking at the line. Kieran Walters wants a quick play the ball. Wide for Langer. Kevin Walters inside for Gilmeister. Put that down, that tackle from Ferner. That stopped a try. Walters away. Langer's with it. Still 5 metres out. This is a chance. That's a try, I'd say.
No, it's been ruled. Well, I don't know if it's a knock-on, it's a changeover.
Well, I think it's a try. It's come off a Canberra player, surely.
Well, Terry Madison believes it's a try. Here's the kick.
Come off a Canberra player, it's gone. Now Madison's picked it up, and he's over. There, the ball's down there on the line. For mine, that's a try.
Well, let's watch it again.
Well, it's come off Mal Meninga's hand. Well, that's got to be play on for mine.
Well, he's ruled that the Canberra player, in fact, hasn't played at the ball, but the fact is that Brisbane, I feel, should have been granted a try.
Good touch him, and now Willie Kahn forced to pick up 15 metres out. Terry Madison, well, he was filthy. It was Julian O'Neill trampling over the top of Canberra players to be tackled 24 out from his own line. Tough call against the Brisbane side.
How'd you see that one, Gino?
Yeah, I agree with that. It was a tough call. And Maddo went up to the linesman, and I think that's where the wide for sound could have come in real handy there.
Great run. It hasn't ended yet. 40 metres out. Langer. Gilmeister. Brisbane go back in search of the try. They feel they've been robbed. Kevin Walters. Lazarus. That's the 20-metre line just in front of him. Kieran Walters inside for Ryan. Langer. Kevin Walters. Chance here. Chris Johns. Nandruko's got him.
Oh, Mal Meninga going for an intercept or a bat down of the ball. It nearly cost his side a try there. He's orchestrating things beautifully out there, Alan Langer, for his team. And the pass here from Kevin Walters is Langer. And that Mal Meninga coming up out of the line, didn't get his hand to the ball.
Super tackle by Nandruko to save the try, but there's plenty of hands on hippers out there for the Raiders as Daly sends it wide through Mullins.
That's on hippers.
This is Hoppy slammed down on the 30-metre line. This telecast tonight going through to Fiji. So you people obviously watching the match and hoping for Canberra. Steve Walters steps out of a tackle. Stewart backed him up, lost the ball.
Yeah, great tackle on Stewart by Kieran Walters. There was trouble looming for the Broncos, but Kieran Walters came from behind, knocked the ball free.
Some movement on the bench, Steve, for Canberra.
Yeah, unbelievable pace for this game. David Ferner is about to leave the field. Paul Osborne has left the field, and replacing them, number 40, David Boyle, and number 41, David Wesley.
Lazarus. Madison. Langer. Trying everything, Alan Langer. Belcher didn't have any pressure on him, really.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Alan Langer's kicked the football up and nobody has reacted. Nobody's chased. He's led the charge. Only after he realised that if he didn't go down, there wouldn't be any chaser going. And none with any intensity. Look at that, they're just jogging up. An easy catch for Belcher.
This is Wesley. Stewart. Daly. Inside pass for Belcher. Stewart taken from behind by Madison. Daly. Willie Kahn coming off his 20-metre line.
David Boyle now out there for Canberra. Mark Holm was the man replaced by Peter Ryan. I'll be looking for some good defence from Ryan as Brisbane get a penalty here. Canberra player penalised for having his hand in on the ball.
Lomax it was.
Inhibiting the man playing the ball. You can see the right hand there. O'Neill pushing it away. Bill Harrigan, he's had a very good game out there apart from that one decision we thought should have been a try. We'll have a look at that more at half-time, I'd imagine. Brisbane would feel they should be further in front.
Brisbane leading 4-0. Lazarus has had a very strong first half, not just in attack either. He's pulled off a couple of real classical tackles. Langer, inside ball from Kevin Walters. Heard the call from Julian O'Neill. Belcher makes the tackle.
Yeah, makes his third try-saving tackle in the game.
Madison. Langer. Kevin Walters. Renoff out wide. Kevin Walters. Belcher with some work to do. Made it.
He's still one of the best fullbacks in the game. As Paul Borton pointed out, he's already saved a couple of tries. And Mal Meninga steps through a tackle here, looking for Nandruku, can't get it.
Now it's Noah's turn.
Call that play from Brisbane we saw. I think we'll see more of it. The inside pass against the sliding defence. There's a chance out here for Canberra now through Mullins.
Beautiful tackle by Renoff. Lomax. The Raiders with a roll on now. Lomax. 35 out. Stewart looks inside. Daly's on the outside. Nandruku. Play on for Brisbane. Johns, scorer of the try.
There is plenty of ball movement, isn't there, out there? It's incredible football. With the two best sides on paper, and they're showing why tonight. Sure, the defence is a bit dusty from both sides. Plenty of first-up missed tackles, but the ball movement is sensational.
I think there was great work from Trevor Gilmeister. Nandruku passed the ball straight to him. It went to ground. He picked it up and in the one motion had it back to one of the support players who took it another 15 metres up the ground. It's just good presence of mind. Get your side out of danger very quickly.
Alan Can right on the halfway line. Langer running to the open but actually kicking back onto the blind side and finding the line. 4 points to nil in favour of Brisbane after 32 minutes.
I was talking earlier, Ray, about the inside pass probably working against both of these teams. They both slide very well in defence. So what can work well against that is the angled runner coming back inside or the inside pass. And what that try to do is to catch out the lazy man in defence on the inside. And there was a lazy man there that allowed Julian O'Neill to make a bust earlier in this game.
Canberra using the football from the right to the left of the field, right across the ground. Mullins. Sideline, Steve Roach.
Yeah, one player we have missed tonight a bit too often is Chris Johns. He's had a mighty game, a couple of try-saving tackles early in the match, and also he's made a couple of breaks and scored the try. He's having a whale of a game.
Daly, hopping down the sideline. Stewart.
Got some cleaning up work, Kerrod Wallace as well. Come up with a tackle there.
Croker running off a short pass from Pongia. They go the short side. Stabbing kick by Ricky Stewart. Perfectly placed. O'Neill showed patience of Jones.
There's both halfbacks, short kicking game, they're both brilliant games. And they're both having great games as well tonight. Stewart up against Langer. Of course, they were the State of Origin halfbacks, and Langer got the Australian job ahead of Stewart. There they are on screen. Two of the best players in the game today.
One of the best scrum feeders.
Comments tonight coming to you from Gene Miles, Steve Roach, Peter Sterling, Paul Vaughton. The whole team is on hand tonight for this big one from Bruce Stadium. As Brisbane gets a penalty, it's against the defence of Canberra. Overindulgence from Mr. Westley in 41 jumper, young David.
If you're going to hold a player down, you don't turn around and look at the referee and say when. I mean, you just do it subtly or discreetly if you can. So he'll learn from that, Wesley.
Well, can Lazarus play any better than the form he's showing at the moment? Gilmeister puts it down. David Boyle. Stewart. Pongia. Daly. Daly decides to go himself. It's right on the 40-metre line. Crowd roars for a penalty. Stewart. Mullins. Tries to push away from Renouf. Renouf is injured. Westley. Renouf back on his feet, he's okay. Stewart. Wide ball for Daly. Inside Meninga. Likewise Croker. Into the hands of Stewart and now Hoppy. Renouf came out of the line. That means there's got to be a gap there. Hoppy goes down the sideline. Oh, crossing tackle from O'Neill. This is the last now. Stewart goes to the ear. Canberra, they're coming down. Oh, Julian O'Neill. Superb catch. Penalty Canberra.
Oh, it's a great game. I really thought Stewart might have taken the wrong option there. He's looking for a quick tap. He's taken it.
Stewart floats the pass. Steve Walters.
Oh, what about the tackle of Madison? It's another penalty.
He might use the sin bin too.
Yes, he has. 10 minutes for Terry Madison. It was a try-saver, but it's going to leave his side short.
Professional foul on Terry Madison. And now they go back to the drawing board.
Well, you've nearly got to kick the goal, you would think now. No, they've taken the tap again. Daly on the blind. They've gone to sleep.
Daly's over the line. It's a try. Daly scored. Tell you what, it's a good effort for a sleeper.
Oh, he can't score that. Unbelievable. No, I said that Brisbane had gone to sleep, Ray. And he did have plenty to do, Laurie Daly. They came up with a Brisbane play there, the quick tap. I thought because the time had elapsed, the element of surprise had gone. But Laurie Daly, it was just strength and ability to get between men and got him that try. Now, from that tackle, Terry Madison has ended up in the sin bin, and that allowed time for Brisbane to get their defence set. And Ricky Stewart, he's weighed up the situation. He's had a look. He takes it quickly. got outside Steve Renoff, who fell straight off. He's held up by 2 and planted the ball left hand, and up goes the arm.
He's having a great game, Laurie Daly. He's been under some criticism of late for not playing too well, but he's answered his critics there. And he's had a great first half and gives Can a gobful. Mel comes in. It's all happening. And it's just great football. I thought if Stewart was going to take the quick tap against 13 players, he was going to take it against 12. And it's paid dividends there. Can just upset that he couldn't put Daly down. Now Meninga has got this kick from out wide.
4th try of the year for Daly.
And significant that the try was scored with 1.5 minutes to go. So the perfect time to score a try. That danger period we talk about so often. And a chance for Canberra to go to the front at the interval.
Well, how bold is that when you think about what those two have done? Meninga off the outside edge of the boot. So no addition to the scoreboard. And we're all locked up after 39 minutes. 4-all. This is what they tried. Stewart and Daly. Daly did all the work. Hancock and Can, they couldn't stop him. Entitled to wrap him up, I suppose, but they were dealing with Laurie Daly. And here in Canberra, they'll tell you that he can do anything. Wesley. Down to the sidelines, Gene Miles for a comment.
Yeah, great effort there by Laurie Daly, Ray, just to hold Michael Hancock and also Owen Can, 2 of the strongest guys in the club.
Steve Walters trying to push away from Kerrod. Four points all. And there's the siren. It's the end of the first half. Magnificent first half of rugby league. We came here expecting a super clash, and they're giving us every bit of that. Brisbane first over the line. A try for Chris Johns. And then Canberra equalising just in front of half-time. It's had its controversial moments, and I'm sure the boys will examine them as they reflect on the first half in just a moment.
4 points all, and Paul Vaughton, a first half of football where both teams really did dominate at certain times. Brisbane on the rack early on, came back, scored the first try. Canberra stormed home late with a try just before half-time.
Yeah, but it's been a classic encounter, really. Canberra started off like a house on fire. I think Tim Sheens at half-time would be a little concerned about their support play. They've made a number of breaks with no support. Brisbane have had that support. Blokes like Madison, when he's made breaks, has had plenty of players around him.
Well, Canberra did enjoy a lot of field position early in this game, but it was Brisbane who put on the first try. A one-on-one miss, and Chris Johns running in a difficult conversion.
Yeah, well, they spun it wide, and there's Mal's gone out to take his outside man. Croker was a little bit slack there, then decided to go high, and Chris Johns got a very good fend. And Brisbane, who absorbed all the pressure early in the match, came up with the first try to take the 4-0 lead.
And they did have an opportunity to further that lead, but a fairly controversial decision, we believe, with a disallowed try to Terry Madison coming from a kick. It did look as though it was all systems go.
I don't know what the referee's ruled here. That ball has come off Mal Meninga's arm, straight to Madison's arms, and over he goes for the try. Now, Harrigan, I believe he must have been unsighted with the incident. Mel's actually played at the ball, and it's gone forwards then, but it should have been play on, and it should have been 8-0 to Brisbane. Unfortunately for them, Harrigan didn't rule in their favour, Canberra.
And there was no doubt that Madison did get the ball down.
Good as gold.
And then a late flurry at the end there. Some great confidence shown by the Canberra side. We've seen it before from Brisbane taking the quick tap. Madison's ended up in the bin, so we won't have him for the first 10 minutes. But Laurie Daly really had to do it all himself because he was up against a set defence.
Yeah, pure show of power here by Laurie Daly. Stewart, very smart player. He's had a great game. So has Daly. It's amazing the number of times that you'll see Stewart pass to Daly, and there it's a great show of power and strength, and all the boys getting excited. It's good stuff.
Well, what's going to separate these sides? Have you seen anything out there in that first 40 minutes where maybe Langer or Stewart or one of the other players can capitalise? The inside pass, maybe, that's had some success.
The inside passes have been on. Look, Brisbane have been playing a 12-man front line. I will be very surprised if Stewart doesn't start putting some little chips in. Both sides are making breaks. Their defences are a little bit dusty at this stage. Both coaches, I think, working overtime in there in the shed.
Well, it is going to be a sensational second 40 minutes, and if this is the game of the year for the Winfield Cup, no doubt the clash in the Commonwealth Bank Cup between St Gregory's from Campbelltown and Fairfield Patrician Brothers, it fits the bill also. The third quarter-final match of the competition, two great sides that have dominated the Cup for so many years now, and from this game, we've chosen this as our Coca-Cola Junior Player of the Week.
Chris Flint carves them up, then off the left, underneath the post. Oh, they're having a field day.
Just beautiful footwork there, some ordinary defence. We weren't in a straight line, Fairfield there, and Chris Flint showing great footwork. Two great rivals at schoolboy level. In fact, out of the 18 titles decided, they've won 13. We do thank Coca-Cola again for their continued support at the Commonwealth Bank Cup and schoolboy level. Another great weekend coming up in sport. Of course, the cricket continues live from Edgbaston after our Friday night football, but on the weekend shows, this is what we look forward to.
Join us tomorrow on Wide World of Sports for high-energy action from the World Aerobics Championships. We'll get all gassed up for offshore powerboat racing in the Sydney to Newcastle Classic. Catch up on those overnight Test cricket highlights. Hit the track in the British Touring Car Championship and meet canine adventurer Hooch the Pooch. On the Sunday edition, we'll scale the heights with some mountain climbing thrill seekers, review the career of great golfer Bobby Jones, fly high with the Blue Angels, and catch Sue Stanley's World Aerobics routine. On this week's edition of The Footy Show, we talk to Rooster turned Panther Gary Freeman, plus newly appointed Souths coach Bobby McCarthy. Sports Sunday takes a special look at Ashes hero Merv Hughes, legendary swim coach Joe King, and cycling talent Peter Basanko. Plus, sign on as a grease monkey in pit row. All that and a whole lot more coming your way this weekend on the one and only Wide World of Sports.
Good with the amount of times they've had the ball either. 7 out of 20 for Canberra, 9 out of 20 for Brisbane. Having said that, they have kicked early in the tackle count on a couple of occasions. Only 6 line breaks there. The best defence in this second half is going to win the football game, and the one-on-one defence so important.
Will Harrigan in charge of this big match. Looking for the captains. And Willie Kahn starts the second half. Belcher forced to take it back himself. Youngster Wesley was supposed to take it out, but got himself offside. That's him with the ball now. Down to the sideline. Any information down there, Steve?
Yeah, in the Canberra room, Coach Tim Sheens, as you can imagine, was very, very happy. He wants his side for a bit more support in the forwards, and he wants his team to change direction in attack a bit more. Also, keep the tempo up, and force the issue. There's still a long way to go in this game, but he's very happy with his side.
Stewart finding the line, 25 metres out. 4 points all. Stewart with pinpoint accuracy. Gino, what's happening in the Broncos camp?
Well, likewise in the Brisbane dressing room, Ray, that Wayne Bennett is extremely happy. He acknowledged the fact that both sides are playing exceptionally well. And the only concern he has is that the defence has to move up before it slides.
Any comment, Gene, on the disallowed try?
Yeah, no, mate, not in the dressing room. But I asked the standby referee here, and he claimed that Bill Harrigan awarded that the ball had travelled forward from a Brisbane player to a Brisbane player. Therefore, it was a changeover.
So, in other words, he must have been unsighted, Ray, to have missed it.
Yeah, I think that the view that we had from here was a fair try. Can losing it, Mullins scooping it away for Hoppy.
Well, Can lost the ball because of a very solid Laurie Daly tackle, which eventually forced the ball loose. He's at a big game, Laurie. Not only is he a great runner of the football, but his defence is equal to anyone in the competition today.
Chance here for Canberra. They're 15 metres out from the line. They've lost it. Will it be a penalty? No, it's a scrum.
Yeah, the grimace from Steve Walters. The ball coming out. Let's have a look. Is there any hands? No, I think he's lost it of his own accord. He's not happy about it, and rightly so. 15 metres out, he's given away possession early in the count.
Both these sides have got Another very hard match before the semi-finals. So the loser tonight could have problems. See, Canberra's got that match away with Canterbury, and Brisbane have got a home game with the Saints. So whoever loses this tonight, they're just leaving the door open that fraction further. Kevin Walters turning it back for Julian O'Neill.
Again, Daly coming in, driving over the top. Now, the great players in this game, so many people just think of them as attacking players. The Wally Lewises, the Brett Kennys, they don't get the raps in defence as they should, and Laurie Daly probably falls into that category as well. He's as good as defender as there is in the game, as Hoppy makes a little bit of a meal of it. Ball got backwards, and Renouf comes up with the tackle with the aid of Peter Ryan. Good chase up there.
Gary Belcher put down by Steve Walters. He was under heavy pressure. Now Julian O'Neill reaches the 40-metre line. Kerrod Walters.
One marker there for Canberra. Must have two, and must have two working.
Khan, Langer, Kevin Walters. Intercepted. Mal Meninga. 30 metres to go. Will Khan get him? No, the big fella's in. Meninga scores.
Oh, and the crowd love it. Mal Meninga, you wondered when he got the ball whether he was going to have the pace to catch Willie Khan. But Meninga did a good job. He got up in the back line. We saw an intercept taken against Brisbane last week by Krankovic for Parramatta in exactly the same fashion. The player getting up there, the ball floating there from the pass from the Brisbane player. And Big Mal, he didn't have much support, but he did the right thing. He didn't look for any. He put the ears back. Willie Khan, a valiant job. And they break your heart.
Oh, great run by Mal. I'll tell you what, he looked like Hondo Grattan, shortening stride with about 20 to go. The legs are pumping, but the hamstrings were straining, let me tell you. And Willie came at him, determination all over the dial, and Canberra go to the 8-4 lead.
Oh, I love it when you talk like that, Paul. Oh, great work from the big man. 8 tries for the season. Hondo Grattan.
Where'd you pull that from?
Won a couple of miracle miles. It must have seemed like a mile for Mal then. And that was the important thing. Meninga got up in the back line, and I think Gene Miles said at half-time that Wayne Bennett had told his players before they slide, they had to go forward, and that's what Meninga did. He got up, put some pressure on before starting to slide, and the pass, it floated a little bit, and he plucked it out of the air.
John Lomax is the new goal kicker, the third for the night. Just offline. So Canberra, they grab the lead over Brisbane. 8 points to 4 in Friday night football. This time, the support player for Belcher gets it right. David Westley.
Looks a likely prospect, doesn't he, Wesley? They tell me that last week against Balmain he was one of Canberra's best, and he's done a good job tonight since he's been on. What about this for a run? He's carried 4 of them, 20 metres. Steve Walters, Australia's hooker. Outstanding run by Walters.
Great kick.
Here's
Mullins is coming fast. Oh, great chase by Mullins. Daly was there a second later.
Do you think that they surprised Julian O'Neill? He's picked the ball up thinking that he'll have 40 metres. He had 4. He gets back. He's done a good job because he's got back quickly. Well, he's had a little bit of a look. He knew that they were coming. Gee, that's a great chase.
Willie Carr. Taken by Nandruku. Good evening to everybody in Fiji. Watching the 9 coverage of this match with your homegrown hero, Noah Nandruku. His side's in front, 8-4. Put down, chance for Canberra. Daly. Madison's back from the bin. Hoppy. Stewart. Inside ball for Meninga. Canberra. Buoyed by the try for Mal Meninga. David Boyer. That's the 10-metre line just in front of him. Stewart, long pass. Daly inside. Belcher comes back. Pongia goes ahead. Brisbane really pushing themselves to get to the tackles. Croker. Walters. Stewart. To the air. Chance for Nandruku. Oh, gee. Nandruku and Meninga both had it.
The perfect kick there. It arrived at the same time as the chasers. Nandruku, I think he actually had the football in his hands. The trouble for Khan was that he was almost standing still, so that the chasers had the momentum. Oh, yes, he had it in his hands. It came nearly back into Meninga's and perilously close to another try.
Well, we know Brisbane's a good side, but they're going to have to be tonight if they're to win. Ryan. Are we in for a super semi-finals and final series this year? These two sides have given us a little taste of it tonight. O'Neill beat Meninga. Croker wraps him up. Gilmeister wants it and gets it. Pongia wrapped him over the head, but he fell into it. Langer.
Oh, the crowd went up. There was nearly a shepherd there from Langer, and the crowd was booing.
I think they might have seen a little bit of interference from Glenn Lazarus on a Canberra player that was trying to put charge down pressure on them.
Well, here it is here. Langer's got the ball.
Yeah.
And Lazarus grabbed Lomax and took him out of the play.
There's not many things going on around the park. It's quite furious. It's frantic. The kids, as I said, they've been allowed on the ground. That indicates that these two great sides are playing it out in front of a record crowd. Stewart. Hoppy. Nagus is getting ready on the sidelines. Another of the Fijians. And I'm led to believe he'll take the place of Brett Mullins. David Boyle. Stewart. Khan ambles back for it. And now starts to run away from Croker. O'Neill. What's the story on Mullins, Steve?
Yeah, there's a bit of talk that he's got a bit of a strained hamstring, but they're going to give him another 5 minutes before Nagus, a very exciting Fijian, comes on.
Steve, just while we've got you down there, how have you seen the forward battle?
I've seen it pretty even. I mean, in the first half when Paul Osborne was on, I was very impressed with his form. But as I said in the start of the game, Glenn Lazarus is the premier front rower in the game, and I think he's showing the way for the Brisbane side. Steve Waller's having a very good game for the Canberra Raiders at the moment, making a lot of yards from dummy half.
Kevin Walters. Johns. Desperate tackle by Lomax. Had to be made. Ryan. Langer. Canberra's ball. Wide for Daly. Off his own 20-metre line. Pongia. Hopping. He's toiled hard, Peter Ryan, since he came on. Mark Hone was injured very early in the game. David Boyle. 8-4 in favour of Canberra. Walters away. Stewart supports. Halfway line. Walters inside. Lomax. Belcher. Mullins. Renoff occasionally gives the impression he's struggling in defence.
Well, this is Strawberries. We just heard the call. Ricky Strawberry. So now on, that's the high kick.
Came off the fingers of Nandruku.
Oh. Canberra players believing that he'd knocked that back, Nandruku, as the quick changeover. The referee in a great spot to see it. He's pulled it up.
Can. Reserve grade tonight. Went to Canberra. 30 points to 8. Big win by the Raiders. Got the crowd ready for this one. Ryan. Met and pulled down by John Lomax. Near the halfway. Langer. Through the hands of Kevin Walters. That's Chris Johns. And look at the defence from Daly.
Thanks for coming.
Wide kick from Walters. Belcher comes away now. In and away from Gilmeister. Taken by Kevin Walters eventually. Stewart. Nandruku. Look at Brisbane. Really manning all battle stations. When Nandruku gets it, that's a sign that it's all hands on deck. Lomax. 175 for Canberra, 156 for Brisbane in the tackle count. Inside ball, Pongia comes back the short side. Croker. 40-metre line. Stewart wide for Daly. Belcher's with him. Hoppy is going fast down the right touchline. O'Neill. Hoppy the tackler. Steve Walters the assist.
Yeah, good work by Hoppy, but O'Neill got no support from Hancock then. He was just bludging back there. Didn't give him any options as Kevin Walters makes a little inroad.
So Brisbane are just outside their own 20-metre line. Competition's 4 leading try scorers are involved in this game tonight. Nandruku with 16, Renoff 14, Hoppy 13, and Khan 12. None of them yet have been over the line. Lazarus.
Incredible to think, Ray, that going into this game, Canberra, in relation to Parramatta, who was Brisbane's opponents last week, have scored 250 more points than the Eels this season, 18 matches. Incredible amount of points compared to another Winfield Cup side, as Brisbane will have this scrum feed.
And these are the 2 top-scoring sides in the competition.
Canberra, I'm sorry, will have the scrum feed.
This crowd, you can hear them in the background. There they are. Look at them, rugged up against the Canberra cold. But I don't know that they're feeling it at the moment. Their team's in front.
Yeah, and Brisbane a mile offside there from the scrum. The back line up. Daly looking to take the quick tap. Slows it down.
Just getting back to those points scored for. Canberra 24.9 per game. Brisbane 23.3 per game. But the points against are just as satisfying for Canberra. Now, the Raiders, they take the tap. Lomax. Stewart. Nandruku came off his wing. They go up the centre. And Pongia, he ran into a shoulder. Peter Ryan and Alan Cann. Boyle. David Boyle did well. Sean Hoppy's with the ball. Mullins appeals and gets it.
He's done some great work in cover defence, Kerrod Walters. He's come up with 3 or 4 over on wing positions where he has no right to be. On that occasion, he's just undone all the good work by keeping his hand in there, not allowing Hoppy to get up and play the ball. Harrigan has seen it. Danger time now, Paul, giving a side like Canberra 2 sets of 6 in a row down your end.
Yes, they're on the roll, the Raiders. Be very surprised if they don't come up with some more points here.
Lomax. Wesley. He's a tough kid, this Wesley. Now they go to the blind side. Steve Walters. David Boyle. Stewart. Daly. Meninga runs the decoy. Mullins.
And there was the big play for them out wide. They more or less wasted 4 rucks before that. They opened the open side of the field up for them. A couple of dummies inside. Little gap there for Mullins. Closed quickly and he couldn't handle the ball.
Well, the set move from the tap kick was well read by Brisbane. It was a blindside shot with the run around. Walters involved. Brisbane players stayed on their man. 4 tackles later, they forced a mistake. He did a good job, Mullins, after dropping it. He did clean it up, so at least he put the other side through a scrum.
Johns scored the try. Kerrod Walters really taking it up that time. Ryan. Langer had the chance to go the other way, but he obviously wanted to get the ball to the centre of the park. So he chose Ryan and now Madison. Langer's kick, pinpoint accuracy. Mandruku's inside his own 20. Been a great test for the Fijian tonight. Marking Willie Khan, considered to be the best winger in the world. Meninga taken down by Alan Langer. David Boyle. It is a ground record, I'm advised. We'll get the figures for you in just a moment. David Furner's gone back on, and Quentin Pongia is off. I can see Paul Osborne waiting to come on. Stewart keeps it nice and low and finds the sideline. Beautiful kick.
He had time to kick that football because of the great run from Steve Walters. That turned Brisbane around. Thought about going for that one, Willie Khan, but decided to let it go. And great kick, finds touch. Canberra, when you're in front on the scoreboard, you don't mind going into set play situations. The clock's winding down, they're in front. Lazarus getting a well-earned break.
Changes for Brisbane, Gene.
Yes, mate. Glenn Lazarus coming off, Andrew G taking his position, and also Alan Kern will come off, and John Plath will obviously move to lock and Terry Madison into the second row.
Just a bit more mobility, eh?
Yeah.
David Wesley, he's off for the blood bin. It's happening everywhere here. Khan. Andrew G. Alan Cann off now. Kevin Walters.
We're into the final quarter of this game. Just under 19 minutes to go, so plenty of time. Canberra doing a good job of protecting this lead.
John's playing it. Spare a thought for the Walters family when these two clubs come together. Langer with a one-hander for John Plath. Crowd thought it was forward. Halfway line. Langer. Kevin Walters. Belcher hurries. Oh, that was close.
Was it close? Mickey Hancock was coming fast at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and Bad's got the bad bounce. Just able to dive on at the last moment. With this last cruel bounce for Gary Belcher, had to actually go backwards to get the football.
A little bit of a push and shove between Hancock and Bailey in the back play.
That's what I like about Ricky Stewart's game. He's not just a flashy halfback. He's willing to get in there and take up a hard-hitting ruck whenever he has to.
Paul Osborne back into the battle now. Stewart. It's just what the doctor ordered. Willie Khan now. O'Neill. Andrew G. Ground record crowd, that's been confirmed. 24,801. 400 more than the previous ground record set against St George back in 1991. Congratulations, Canberra. This great game continues to grow in your city. And this is what happened. Renouf putting it down. Ball went forward, though. Daly. Mullins. Lomax uses Daly on the run round. Stewart combines. Now Belcher. 30 metres out from the line.
And looking for someone on the inside, there was no one there.
Stewart again. Meninga's with him. Been some classic rugby league in this one. Been mistakes, obviously. There has to be. Belcher. Grubbers down the short side. Hoppy came fast, but O'Neill was cool. No change. 8-4 Canberra, 64 gone. Nine Network and exclusive rugby league. In more ways than one. Can Brisbane come back? Keep in mind, if they lose, they do have to play St George. Admittedly, it's at home. They would finish on 32 points if they lost tonight and lost to St George. And, of course, that means that Manly even, if they win all games, could draw level with Brisbane and Norths could leapfrog.
Another mistake here. Kerrod Waller's the ball coming loose. He's complaining, saying the ball was stolen. Come up with a couple of errors in the last couple of minutes in their own half.
Well, they're not completing their sets of six, Peter, are they? And this is, they're committing hari-kari if they continue to lose the football in the third or fourth tackle.
Talking of hari-kari, it would be a good deal warmer, I would imagine, in Fiji tonight than here in Canberra. I hope you people on Castaway are having a nice night. Meninga makes a bust. Daly. Stewart. He's 25 metres out from the line. Osborne. Meninga. That time Renouf made the tackle. Stewart calls for Daly. What do you want to do? Lomax goes inside. Furner makes a break. Maybe it was a half.
They're playing the short side lot. They must have found a weakness. They've gone there again.
I think they're punching it back towards Renouf, who's over on that short side as they play centre aside. That came off Brisbane. It's a line dropout.
Yes, another wizardry kick there by, I think it was Ricky Stewart once again. This will be a dropout. Everything going Canberra's way at the moment. The back line are they're set out wide, they're very deep. But it's Stewart just says a little gap there. I think he was aiming for something like this, aiming for maybe running.
Don't tell me he's aiming for Michael Hancock's legs.
No, he wanted to dive onto himself to score a try.
And of course, the reason that they do go the short side is to allow that width for the back line that we saw there. They didn't use it on that occasion. That is their strength, getting it across the other side in short period of time.
Oh, gee, that line dropout was only shallow, and Daly sends Nandruku back. Played just outside the 20-metre line. Canberra about to put this one beyond doubt. Steve Walters. Osborne gets a long ball. Steps off his right foot. Steve Walters. Stewart. Stewart goes himself. Turns it inside. Furner. Short of the line. Steve Walters. Stewart. Daly. Daly goes back towards the hole. 2 metres out. This is the last. Ricky Stewart drops it onto the right foot, and that's play on for Brisbane.
Well, the first kick worked, that one didn't. But he should have passed that one, or at the very least got it into the in-goal area to keep the pressure on. Not his best kick of the night, but it's hard to be critical as Brisbane come up with the mistake again. And Andrew G, the unfortunate man, he's knocked on.
Well, they've done well to hang on so far, Brisbane. Andrew G, a couple of minutes ago, came up with a try-saving tackle. Kerrod Wohlers, he's leaving the field.
Alan Cairn has come back on.
So John Platt has pushed up into the hooking role.
Good chance for a blindside shot here. They've got 15, 18 metres to work in.
Bailey. Mullins. Chris Johns came up in the line and slipped over. Daly uses the blindside for Stewart. Meninga throws that big frame into them. Croker's the dummy half. Stewart. Daly. 18 metres out. Belcher into the back line. David Ball. Oh, he was nearly over the line. And in fact, over the sideline.
I reckon you might find it might have come off a Brisbane player. This could be another Canberra feed. How's he going to rule? He's talked to his touch judge.
And he's pointed to Ricky Stewart, who's gone looking for the ball.
Yep. Here's the incident. Now, Boyle loses. It's ripped out by Johns. The last player to touch the ball, Chris Johns.
Referee calling timeout. Canberra again. Daly. 5 metres from the line. Steve Walters. Stewart. Meninga, short pass. There's the try. That's what they've been looking for. They're all dressed up with somewhere to go, Canberra.
And they would. Had to come. Great play by the Canberra Raiders. 12-4, they go to the lead. Brisbane's defence finally cracked, too tired. They had to do something like 18, 20 tackles in a row. Beautiful short ball. The Brisbane defence is a little bit short. That ball there, and really, he should have been tackled, but the two centres there in Johns and Renouf just looked at each other.
Yeah, it's Chris Johns not coming across and Steve Renouf staying out. Very soft try, but now that just comes from what they've been trying to contain for the last 5 minutes. Just the wrong decision made. I think we've probably seen 10 try-saving tackles made in the last 5 minutes. That was one that was missed.
You've got to get tired watching the effort that Brisbane were putting in there. Jason Croker gets his 5th try of the year. And what a valuable player he's been for Tim Sheens. The wing one day, lock forward the next. He was given a representative opportunity this year. David Furner, none from one of 3 goal kickers used by Canberra tonight, and he gets the first goal of the night. The Raiders, after 71, looking very cosy at 14-4.
One would think that would just about wrap it up for Canberra. You can't write off Brisbane, but it's been all Canberra the last week. They must have spent 10 minutes in Brisbane's half, and the pressure finally told, Stella.
And I wonder whether the message has gone out from Tim Sheens to think back to last weekend's game. I don't think we're going to see a repeat of that effort against Balmain, leading by 20 points with 15 to go. They're very intense out there, and Paul Osborne makes a good charge to the 30-metre line. Now Stewart comes in, bounces off Gilmeister, who has missed a couple of tackles in this game.
Tell you something that Ricky Stewart has done in this game. Not a lot, but he just shows how dangerous he can be when he elects to run. And when he does, 9 times out of 10, he's going to catch you, because opposition teams have become so accustomed that he's going to kick or he's going to pass.
He also has the advantage, Ray, when he does decide to run the football. He has the ball out in 2 arms, as Khan just retrieves that one. So straight away, that puts doubt into the defence's mind as to whether he is going to kick, pass, and that option which he uses sparingly to run the football, but he's done it with great effect tonight.
Already, I can see on the extremities of this ground there's a Jack Frost starting to settle.
Big hit by Osborne on Gilmeister. A cracker.
Langer pushing it wide. Madison. Have a look at this. Oh! What a tackle it was. Langer driving it down. Gary Belcher has answered his critics tonight. And when you've been as good as Gary Belcher, I think everybody sort of is happy and they feel warm inside when he does answer them in the way he has tonight. This is David Furner.
I'd like to know who the critics are and what they base it on, to be quite honest. Seen too much wrong in Belcher's season.
Well, I think the bulk of it came out of last Sunday, Pete. Stewart. Oh, slicing run again. Is that Jason Croker? David Boyle links up with him. Gets it inside the 20-metre line. Stewart. Daly. Don't know that he was meant for that. Stewart. Lomax. Osborne. Osborne! He's gone all the way. And he points to the crowd and says, hey, brother, I can do it too.
And the Broncos are out on their feet. They can't tackle anymore. Canberra throwing this ball around beautifully from side to side. They're all happy. They've won the match. They lead 18-4, and Paul Osborne did it all on his own in the end. A great interchange of passing here. Stewart's involved a few times. Here's the bust by Kroger. David Boyle backs up on the inside here. He's had a good game, Boyle, since he's come on. Done a lot of very good work. And from here, the ball comes out to the left. There's nowhere to go for Daly, so they back up well, Canberra. Stewart's here, throws a speculator out, and it was a speculator. They got some numbers here. Renoff came in when he shouldn't have. Left Osborne some room, but that is very poor defence in the end.
Yes, we've seen Canberra score tries where the winger passes to the winger, but the front rower to the front rower is something new. And Lomax, he's had a power of a game, and I think he's been the best prop on the field, to be quite honest. And then just some very feeble work there, Michael Hancock.
Is it significant, Peter, that they worked again back to the right-hand side of the ground and went down that left-hand side for Brisbane?
Well, I don't think that's significant to the extent that I think they mucked up the play in the first place and were basically forced to go there. It was a good pass from Stewart to keep it alive and cut out some players. Just tired defence.
What about David Furner? He lost the script completely. Oh, but it doesn't matter. From the sideline. 20 points to 4. 76 gone. Friday night footy. What a great night it's been from down here at the Bruce Stadium. I hope you've enjoyed it. This is only just the entree. The main courses are still to come September. And we've got some great clashes between now and the end of the competition as well.
Don't forget the footy show on Sunday. We'll have a look at all the highlights here of this game. The game tomorrow, of course, we've got Bob McCarthy in swinging out there for Madison. He missed that one, Harrigan. Bob McCarthy's coming in, the New South coach. Also, Gary Freeman, he's coming on to tell us what happened there at Eastern Suburbs. Should be a good show.
Croker, 12 o'clock on Sunday, the footy show. With Fatty, Blocker, Sterlo and the Moose and plenty of guests on Sunday. Saints and Parramatta Sunday night for you at 6:30. St George keen to get it back together. David Westley. This is the last. Stewart. Left foot chip and the regather. Keeps it on the boot. Takes it to the 20, tries to get it in again. Oh, the bloke's fair dinkum, nearly a freak.
Yes, wonderful play by Stewart. I mean, you love You love coming here to these games and watching them. Watch Stewart here. This is magic from him. Keeps it on the toe there. Plenty of speed to keep up with the football and nearly gets it to score a try. Now I think we've seen a mistake from Brisbane.
Steve Wallace getting the pat on the head there from Laurie Daly for forcing the scrum. Wayne Bennett. It's been a long trip down here and an unrewarding one. Just gets a little bit colder down here when you've had a loss also.
Beautiful play. Mandruku had a chance.
Oh, what about the play that set it up? It was the double reverse triple with the pike and half something. It was a 9.9 degree, I know that. You see the pass here. Now, Meninga's gone back inside. Stewart's doubled around. Belcher was there to receive it. He'd already touched the football.
I reckon when that pass went up, I reckon all of Fiji erupted, looking for Nadruku to score in the corner, but he missed it.
He did have some weight on his shoulders then. No wonder he dropped it.
People on neighbouring islands thought that a gale had struck. This is Alan Cann. Wherever you're watching tonight, around Australia, and of course with our friendly neighbours in Fiji. I hope you've enjoyed it. I don't think they've let us down.
Well, it's not a matter of Brisbane playing badly tonight. I think their defence has suffered the last 20 minutes especially. Probably the turning point of the match came with Meninga's intercept. Little kick here, but Belcher covers it nicely. I think that it didn't break the backs of Brisbane. The 8-4 lead. And from then, I think their ball control let them down, Brisbane. 3 or 4 times they dropped the ball early in the tackle count. Canberra, and with weight of possession, have just been too good on the night.
20 points to 4 in favour of the home team. Steve Walters, David Boyle. Siren sounding in the background. Bill Harrigan says that's enough. 20 points to 4. The Raiders over the Broncos. A ground record crowd. 24,801. Temperatures bordering on 0. Tim Sheen celebrates the signature as coach for a further 2 years today with a victory over the Wayne Bennett coached Brisbane Broncos. Great match. Disappointed Brisbane, although as Paul Vaughton said, they didn't play badly. It all probably hinged on the Meninga intercept. And if he misses that intercept, it's likely, probable in fact, that Brisbane score at the other end of the park. The Raiders go over to acknowledge the attendance of the ACT crowd and bordering townships. Ricky Stewart can feel very proud, very pleased. Alan Cann's head is down, but it shouldn't be. We'll take a break, then we'll come back. We've got more league chatter coming to you from Bruce Stadium in just a moment.
Performance and the tries to Daly, Meninga, Croker and Osborne. A few goal kickers there. The only one successful was Furner, 2 from 3. And for Brisbane, Chris Johns, the sole try scorer. Terry Madison missed with his only kick at goal. And as I said, that second half performance, well, they got away to a great start with an intercept from Mal Meninga, and really that set the trend for the next 35 minutes, Paul.
That's right, Peter. Brisbane trying to attack out wide, and Mal, you know, he's 33 years age, but he can still foot it with the best of them. He was shortening stride a bit, but Willie Kahn tried in vain, and Mal, I thought he had a great game tonight, Mal Meninga. Great captain's knock by him. He led them very well.
Yeah, those kind of things really change the course of games.
Brisbane coughed up the ball far too many times for Wayne Bennett's liking. This is a beautiful short ball here by Meninga onto Croker. Showed a little bit of speed through the gap. Some poor defence there by the Brisbane centres. Wayne Bennett has got some work to do in that area. Canberra seemed to work their attack at Renouf quite a bit, and they made a few breaks down that side of the field.
So many stars in the Canberra side, but the likes of Croker and Boyle, unsung heroes, and so too the final try scorer, Paul Osborne. Probably doesn't get too many, but he'll get great delight out of this one.
Well, I think he only played about probably 40 minutes of the match, coming on in the second half after a rest. Nice dummy there. Very poor attempt by Renouf. Just tapped him on the back. And Osborne kept going. So that was the final try. Here's the stats now.
Yeah, and I think probably the most significant one there is being able to keep Brisbane to only 5 line breaks.
And just look at that, 35 missed tackles for Brisbane. And we saw players like Gilly, you know, miss 4 or 5 tackles in a match. That's unbelievable by him. And Wayne Bennett, I don't know if he'd be too upset about the loss. Canberra far too good on the night, but he's got some work to do. Well, those statistics show a good all-round performance from Canberra, and that was the case. Very tough decision, our man of the match. The man we did choose is now with Steve Rage.
Well, the Mitsubishi Motors $1,000 man of the match goes there. Form front rower, John Lomax. John, congratulations.
Thanks, bro.
Great crowd here tonight, mate.
Mate, she was an awesome crowd, good support, and it's good to see them here, actually.
You got the man of the match in the front row up against Glenn Lazarus. That give you a bit of extra incentive?
Oh, I did, actually. I've been reading the papers all week. I think most of the forwards have been reading them, and they didn't rate us, really, and we come out and I think we acquitted ourselves quite well tonight.
Yeah, Tim Sheen said at half-time to move the ball, keep changing directions. You took that to a tee and ran away with the game in the end, 20 points to 4.
Yeah, I think it was a great team effort by everyone, actually.
Well, mate, I know how freezing it is here, mate.
Yeah,
Go and enjoy yourself.
Thanks a lot. Thanks to Channel 9 and Mitsubishi. It's great.
Good on you, mate.
He's really made a great fist of his first year in the Winfield Cup, Paul, and, well, we thought that he had the best of the front row battle out there tonight.
He was up against Glenn Lazarus, who's the best prop in the world. I thought he held his own. Actually got on top on the night, something like 28 tackles and 15 or 16 hit-ups. And he was very tough and very rugged in the throws of the match.
Well, footy tab tonight, a scoreline probably not predicted by too many people, and that's reflected in the dividend, $940.60 for that 20-4 scoreline. And the points table now after this game. Overnight, Canberra, well, they've gone to the lead for at least 24 hours on 29. North Sydney in the 5, they round out the 5, and Brisbane, of course, stay on 28 points. And Sunday, a great game coming up at the Kogarah Oval. St George up against Parramatta, an important one for St George, and that should be a great game. I think St George will get home in that one and to consolidate their spot. And plenty of sport coming up, as we said earlier. Stay with us tonight for the cricket coming from Edgbaston. A great night in sport following Friday night football. And until we come to you from the footy show at 12 o'clock on Sunday and that game between Parramatta and St George, from the entire wide world of sports football team, we wish you a very good night.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.